Hello, everyone. Welcome back. This is RandoGEEK. Okay, so we have an update regarding the T-Mobile UScellular deal. Looks like there's some pushback being presented in the way of T-Mobile. We knew this would happen. There's always got to be somebody that tries to get in the way of T-Mobile's business. This isn't the first time. It certainly won't be the last, especially when T-Mobile is continuously trying to purchase other companies to make their network better, right? So we have some pushback here. Link will be down for you in the description if you want to read it on your own. But the title here, Warren sounds alarm on T-Mobile UScellular deal with Justice Department FCC. So the key points here are 6 senators are asking the Justice Department and the Federal Communications Commission to consider challenging a deal that would allow T-Mobile to use part of UScellular's wireless spectrum. There's a new letter from lawmakers that say consumers could be charged billions more from higher price carriers with lower price carriers combining. Lawmakers also asked the Justice Department to consider unwinding the merger of T-Mobile and Sprint. All right, so there was a group of Democratic senators that are currently sounding the alarm over this deal, T-Mobile and UScellular. Proposal to acquire the company. They're asking the Justice Department and the Federal Communications Commission to closely scrutinize and consider challenging this deal. This deal, of course, was announced in May of 2024 for $4.4 billion. This would allow T-Mobile to use part of UScellular's wireless spectrum to improve its coverage in rural areas and give it access to 4 million new customers. So in the letter, 6 Democrats wrote that the plan would raise costs for customers and limit choices. The statement here is additional consolidation in the market would have far-reaching effects, reducing choices for consumers, further concentrating wireless spectrum holdings and potentially leading to higher prices and other harms for consumers across the country. The letter was led by Senator Elizabeth Warren and Amy Klobuchar, if I'm saying that correct, from Minnesota. Elizabeth is from Massachusetts. And then with Senators Chris Murphy from Connecticut, Bernie Sanders from Vermont, Cory Booker from New Jersey, and Richard Blumenthal from Connecticut were co-signers on this letter as well. Under the agreement, UScellular would retain 70% of its wireless spectrum, for those of you that don't know this, and towers, leasing space on other towers to T-Mobile. Warren and Klobuchar have previously raised concerns in the past about T-Mobile's acquisitions and merger with Sprint. They're saying that the letter from lawmakers also asked the Justice Department to consider unwinding that merger, arguing that it cost customers of competing wireless carriers billions of dollars. The merger eliminated a low-cost carrier from the market, they're saying, reducing the competitive pressure on the remaining national wireless carriers to aggressively compete to their lower prices. They're saying that a spokesperson for UScellular pointed to a statement released at the time that the deal was announced, saying it would provide more competitive choices for UScellular customers as they will benefit from T-Mobile's greater resources and ability to provide lower prices, more robust plans, and a better network experience. All right, so that's pretty much the key points there that I wanted to cover. That's pretty much your entire article. So here we are. Are we shocked that there's some kind of pushback with this deal? I questioned myself as well, and I did a poll. You guys responded, and there was a lot of different opinions, and that's what's so interesting about this, right? My statement was, I'm cool with T-Mobile purchasing UScellular or merging with UScellular. I'm cool with them purchasing and merging with Lumos. And there's another company now, it's a very small company, which I can't remember off the top of my head. I just talked about it like a week ago. Another small little internet company that provides fiber. I'm cool with that as well. If T-Mobile can lawfully provide proof that they're going to utilize this spectrum for the greater good of consumers, of its consumers, current consumers, and potential new consumers, by bringing the service that they would not otherwise be able to provide without these mergers and acquisitions. So, yes, in some cases, if T-Mobile was coming in and selfishly purchasing these smaller companies so that they could buy out competition and pull rank over the other big carriers, AT&T and Verizon, then that would be an absolute no. I would say throw the book at them and have them leave. Don't hear their case. Don't give them an option. Tell them acquisitions are done for you for a very long time. But T-Mobile is arguing that this will help consumers. This will get service out there to customers that they're not able to reach. They'll make their fiber network stronger, giving customers more options to use T-Mobile's fiber network, not just, say, Verizon or Spectrum or Comcast or whatever other company provides the service. Same thing with the wireless, right? There's so many markets where AT&T and Verizon are dominant over T-Mobile. Purchasing UScellular spectrum will make them stronger in those areas, giving consumers yet another carrier to choose from, right? So before, if you only had, say, AT&T and Verizon to choose from, maybe you had UScellular, but we know UScellular wants out, right? Their company is not doing well. They're losing a lot of money. They just don't have it in them to continue to push out, promote, and attract new customers. That's part of why they're selling it. That's a lot of why they're selling it. They feel T-Mobile can do it better. They feel T-Mobile can take their service, their spectrum, and run with it far further than they can. T-Mobile has the money. They have the popularity. It's a household name at this point. Not that UScellular is nothing to laugh at, but T-Mobile is a very big company. Everyone knows about them. They have a greater reach. They have a very strong marketing team. We can't deny this. So they could take UScellular spectrum and put it to a greater good, right? And it's the same thing with the smaller companies like Lumos and the other one, which I like I said, I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but these can be very positive things for T-Mobile and its customers and potential customers. Like I said, reaching consumers that they would not otherwise be able to do. So I get the argument. I get that there's going to be some resistance and pushback because it kind of looks like, we question it all the time. Like, what is T-Mobile doing? Are they just literally trying to create a monopoly here? Are they trying to snuff out all competition and selfishly force us to only have them as an option? When you look at it on one side, that's how it appears. That is how it appears. But then when you really stop and think about how T-Mobile kind of needs assistance, how they need a little bit of help reaching those consumers that they can't reach otherwise, you would think with the merger of Sprint that they would have been able to do it. It's not enough, obviously. Their network is just not as big as Verizon and AT&T. I mean, AT&T's network is massive. They're much slower with their build-outs. They're much more conservative. T-Mobile is a lot more aggressive, but they're much further behind. And, I think there's really just no other way for them to do it at this point in time other than buy up these smaller companies, use the spectrum, get those customers so they can make more money and use that money to put back into the network and make it greater and bigger. And they're also trying to do many things, right? They're trying to improve home internet. They're trying to improve their fiber network, and they're trying to continue to build out and strengthen 5G. So it's a lot on their plate. There's no other way they can really do this. I think Congress is the FCC is feeling some kind of pressure because they want the public, the consumers, to vote whether or not they think the acquisition between UScellular and T-Mobile is a good idea. They're giving consumers a chance to vote. I think that already took place. I don't know how that went down. I don't know what the results were. I definitely want to look into that a little bit further. I tried to get some info. It wasn't easy to find, so I'll have to do a little further digging. But that shows you that, the FCC is kind of weary about this merger because there's just too many acquisitions going on. T-Mobile is really putting themselves all over the map, and it kind of looks suspicious, so I get that. But then at the same time, that's a good idea, letting the consumers vote. Do we want to see the acquisitions happen? Maybe for some people that really want to get their hands on T-Mobile's network, they're voting. They're voting, yes, I want to see this happen. I want T-Mobile to come to my area. So see, it really depends how we look at it, but I think proof is necessary. If they can provide actual evidence that this will benefit these customers, break it down, give the FCC a blueprint, then, they have the money for it. They're willing to take on the challenge. and these companies want to sell and they want to break bread and they want to do business, then I don't know how can we really stop it. I mean, if AT&T wanted it, they could have made an offer. If Verizon wanted it, they did make an offer, right? Verizon already made an offer with UScellular, and they're working on something, so they're going to get parts of that. Apparently, I don't know if that deal is still going through, but that's what we heard, that Verizon's getting some of that spectrum too. So that's what you do. You don't sit back and hate another company for trying to make the moves just because you're not doing it. I mean, AT&T could have easily expressed interest. They don't want it. They don't need it. That's their feeling right now. So T-Mobile is going to jump in then. If you don't want it, they want it. T-Mobile wants it all. They want to be the biggest carrier that they can be, and we can't rain on them for that. With that said, thank you guys so much for stopping by and watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.